The last rays of daylight slowly disappear behind the distant hills, leaving the village wrapped in a gentle silence that feels untouched by time. A cool evening breeze moves softly through the narrow pathways, carrying the faint scent of aged wood and fresh earth as though the landscape itself has begun to breathe more slowly. Have you ever wondered what it would feel like to spend a single night in a place where every passing hour seems to flow at its own peaceful rhythm? As you continue forward, each step becomes quieter than the one before, until even the sound of your footsteps blends naturally with the calm surrounding you. Warm light escapes from a handful of windows, glowing against the gathering darkness like quiet invitations waiting without urgency. There is no need to rush because this place seems to have forgotten the meaning of hurry long ago. A narrow stone path gently curves between old cottages whose weathered walls have silently watched countless seasons come and go. Tiny lanterns sway almost imperceptibly beneath wooden roofs, casting delicate patterns of light across the ground without disturbing the stillness of the evening. What stories might these forgotten homes still be holding after so many peaceful years? The air grows slightly cooler as twilight settles over the rooftops, yet every breath feels unexpectedly comforting instead of cold. Somewhere nearby, water moves with a slow and constant rhythm, offering a quiet reminder that life continues even when everything appears perfectly still. You begin to notice how naturally your own breathing follows that gentle cadence. The gentle murmur of flowing water becomes clearer as you approach a small stone bridge, its weathered surface polished smooth by countless quiet evenings just like this one. Beneath it, a narrow stream glides effortlessly across rounded stones, reflecting the fading colors of the sky with remarkable clarity. Could such a simple scene be enough to remind you how peaceful the world can become when nothing asks for your attention? Crossing the bridge, you notice that the village grows even quieter, as though every sound has chosen to settle for the night. Wooden fences embrace small gardens where wildflowers sway almost imperceptibly, releasing a delicate fragrance into the cooling air. Every detail seems carefully preserved, inviting you to slow your pace without ever asking you to stop. The windows around you continue to glow with a comforting warmth that softens the darkness rather than pushing it away. Behind those quiet panes, life feels unhurried, carried by familiar routines repeated over generations with gentle patience. Instead of wondering what is happening inside, you simply appreciate the comforting certainty that someone, somewhere nearby, is ending the day just as peacefully as you are. A faint breeze moves through the trees lining the narrow lane, causing their leaves to whisper together in slow, rhythmic harmony. Their quiet conversation blends naturally with the distant stream, creating a soundscape so gentle that it almost feels like music written by nature itself. Have you noticed how easily your thoughts begin to fade whenever the world speaks this softly? The pathway slowly leads you toward the heart of the village, where a small square rests beneath the fading glow of the evening sky. An old stone fountain stands quietly at its center, its clear water flowing with the same steady rhythm it has offered for longer than anyone can remember. Nothing about this place seeks to impress you, yet every corner quietly encourages you to remain just a little longer. Around the square, wooden benches wait beneath ancient trees whose broad branches provide shelter even after the sun has disappeared. Their silhouettes stretch gently across the cobblestones while the first stars begin to appear overhead, one after another, without urgency. The sky itself seems to slow down, inviting you to do the very same. You pause for a moment, allowing the cool evening air to settle comfortably around you without distraction. The silence is never completely empty because it is filled with subtle sounds that become more beautiful the longer you listen. Could it be that true quiet is not the absence of sound, but the presence of perfect balance? As darkness deepens, the entire village seems wrapped inside a blanket of calm, where every home, every path, and every tree quietly belongs to the same peaceful rhythm. There is no destination waiting ahead that feels more important than this very moment. For the first time in what feels like a long while, simply being here is more than enough. A narrow lane quietly leaves the village square behind, inviting you to continue without ever revealing exactly where it will lead. Smooth stones beneath your feet seem to remember every traveler who once followed this same gentle route, while soft shadows stretch peacefully beside you. What quiet discoveries could still be waiting beyond the next gentle turn? The houses become fewer as the path approaches the edge of the village, where the open landscape slowly unfolds beneath the evening sky. Tall grass moves in slow waves beneath the breeze, creating a rhythm so delicate that it feels almost synchronized with your breathing. The farther you walk, the more the outside world seems to dissolve behind you. Above, the first stars grow brighter as daylight quietly surrenders to the calm embrace of night. Their reflections begin to shimmer across a nearby pond so clearly that the sky and the water appear to become one peaceful scene. It becomes difficult to tell where the heavens end and their reflection begins. You pause beside the still water, watching faint circles spread gently across its surface before fading into perfect calm once again. Somewhere beyond the reeds, a quiet chorus of evening insects begins its timeless song, filling the silence without ever disturbing it. Have you ever noticed how nature never competes for your attention, but simply waits until you are ready to listen? Nearby, a graceful willow leans over the pond, its long branches barely touching the water with effortless elegance. Every movement feels slow enough to watch without thinking, allowing your mind to drift as softly as the leaves themselves. Time seems to loosen its grip until each passing second becomes almost impossible to measure. When you finally continue walking, the path gently curves back toward the village, though it now feels somehow different from before. The familiar cottages appear even warmer beneath the growing darkness, their quiet lights offering reassurance rather than direction. Returning does not feel like retracing your steps because everything has subtly changed within you. The comforting scent of burning wood drifts peacefully through the cool night air, blending with the freshness carried from the nearby fields. It wraps gently around you, awakening memories that seem impossible to place, yet strangely familiar all the same. Sometimes the heart recognizes a feeling long before the mind can explain it. A single lantern hangs beneath an old wooden porch, its golden light moving softly whenever the breeze passes by. The glow is neither bright nor dim, but perfectly balanced, illuminating only what truly needs to be seen while leaving the rest to the imagination. Could there be a more comforting invitation than a light that asks for nothing except your quiet presence? As you continue through the peaceful streets, every sound becomes softer, every breath deeper, and every thought a little lighter than before. The village no longer feels like a place you are visiting, but a quiet companion walking beside you with silent understanding. Without realizing it, you have already begun leaving behind the weight you carried when the evening first began. The gentle glow of the lantern slowly fades behind you as another quiet path welcomes your next unhurried steps. The village seems even more peaceful now, as though the night itself has settled softly over every rooftop, every garden, and every stone without making a sound. Have you noticed how darkness can sometimes reveal more beauty than daylight ever could? Ahead, an old wooden gate stands slightly open, leading into a small courtyard untouched by time. Vines climb patiently along weathered walls, while delicate flowers rest beneath the silver light of the rising moon, filling the cool air with a fragrance so subtle that it feels more like a memory than a scent. Every corner invites you to pause, not because there is something extraordinary to see, but because everything feels quietly complete. Near the center of the courtyard, an ancient oak stretches its broad branches toward the night sky with effortless grace. Its sturdy trunk bears the gentle marks of countless passing seasons, yet it stands with the calm confidence of something that has never needed to hurry. You cannot help but wonder how many peaceful evenings this silent guardian has witnessed beneath the same stars. A wooden bench rests beneath the shelter of those wide branches, offering a place where nothing asks for your attention except the present moment. As you sit for a while, the cool breeze brushes gently across your face, carrying only the soft rustle of leaves moving high above. The world beyond this quiet place begins to feel wonderfully distant. The moon climbs a little higher, bathing the courtyard in a pale light that smooths every edge and softens every shadow. Stone walls, wooden beams, and winding vines blend together beneath its glow until the entire scene feels almost dreamlike without ever losing its quiet simplicity. Could this be the kind of peace that so many people spend their lives searching for without realizing it often exists in the smallest places? After a few quiet moments, you rise once more and continue through a narrow passage leading back toward the sleeping village. Your footsteps remain gentle against the old stones, producing a rhythm that soon becomes almost impossible to separate from your own breathing. Every movement feels slower than the last, as though the night itself is encouraging you to release every remaining trace of tension. Beyond the final cottages, a small hillside opens before you beneath a sky now filled with countless stars. Their gentle light stretches across the landscape with remarkable clarity, revealing just enough to awaken curiosity while leaving the rest wrapped in peaceful mystery. There is no uncertainty in the darkness here, only quiet possibilities waiting without urgency. You stand for a moment beneath the endless sky, allowing your eyes to wander across distant constellations that have silently watched over this village for generations. The cool night air fills your lungs with effortless ease, while every slow breath seems to carry away another layer of the day's weight. Little by little, your thoughts become as spacious and unhurried as the sky itself. When you finally turn back toward the village, its warm lights appear smaller than before, glowing gently beneath the blanket of stars like quiet promises waiting faithfully through the night. Nothing has changed around you, yet everything feels different because your own sense of time has quietly transformed. Without asking for anything in return, this peaceful place has begun teaching you the forgotten art of simply being still. The gentle slope leads you toward a quiet overlook where the entire valley rests beneath the soft embrace of moonlight. Every rooftop reflects a faint silver glow, while thin wisps of mist drift slowly between the trees as though the landscape itself has settled into peaceful dreams. Have you ever imagined standing somewhere so still that even time seems reluctant to move forward? You remain there without speaking, allowing the silence to unfold naturally around you instead of searching for something more. The distant sound of water reaches your ears once again, blending with the occasional whisper of leaves until every gentle note becomes part of a single calming rhythm. Nothing asks you to think, decide, or remember. The night simply welcomes you exactly as you are. As you leave the overlook behind, a winding footpath guides you through a quiet grove illuminated only by the pale light above. The branches arch gracefully overhead, forming a natural canopy that filters the moonlight into delicate patterns across the ground. Every few steps, another small pocket of light appears, inviting your eyes to wander without ever overwhelming your senses. The cool air carries the comforting scent of damp earth and aged wood, each breath feeling cleaner and lighter than the last. Somewhere nearby, an owl calls into the darkness before silence gently returns, never startling you but reminding you that life continues quietly even while the world sleeps. Could it be that the deepest sense of peace comes not from complete silence, but from sounds that ask for nothing in return? Gradually the trees begin to thin, revealing a wide meadow resting beneath an endless sky filled with brilliant stars. Soft grass sways almost imperceptibly beneath the evening breeze, creating slow waves that seem to ripple across the landscape like a calm sea under moonlight. The simplicity of the scene holds your attention without effort, asking only that you remain present for another peaceful moment. A narrow trail crosses the meadow toward a solitary wooden fence that has quietly marked this place for generations. Its weathered surface bears the gentle marks of passing seasons, yet it stands with quiet strength against the changing years. Looking beyond it, you realize there is nothing waiting except open space, gentle darkness, and the comforting certainty that there is nowhere else you need to be. You continue at an easy pace, feeling each step become softer as the ground beneath you changes from smooth stone to cool grass. The gentle rhythm of walking begins to fade into something even slower, until movement itself feels almost effortless. Without noticing exactly when it happened, your breathing has become as calm as the quiet landscape surrounding you. Above, countless stars stretch across the sky with remarkable clarity, each one shining patiently without competing for attention. Their steady light reminds you that some of the most beautiful things never hurry, never demand to be seen, and never ask for recognition. What if peace has always been waiting in moments like these, quietly present whenever you choose to slow down enough to notice it? As the village rests peacefully behind you and the meadow opens endlessly ahead, the boundaries between the journey and the destination begin to disappear. The night no longer feels like something passing around you, but something gently embracing every thought until even your busiest memories become quiet. In that comforting stillness, you sense that the most restful part of your journey is only now beginning. The path slowly bends toward the edge of a quiet woodland where the moonlight filters gently through tall branches, painting shifting patterns across the ground with every passing breeze. The air feels cooler here, yet it carries a comforting stillness that settles naturally around you, inviting your thoughts to become lighter with each peaceful step. Have you noticed how certain places seem to welcome silence as though it has always belonged there? As you continue beneath the canopy, the world beyond the trees begins to disappear without leaving behind even the slightest feeling of distance or loss. The gentle rustling of leaves blends with the faint murmur of the breeze until every sound feels perfectly balanced, allowing your attention to rest effortlessly on the present moment. Nothing appears to interrupt this quiet harmony because everything seems to move according to a rhythm far older than memory. Soon the woodland opens onto a gentle hillside where wild grass shimmers beneath the silver glow of the night sky. A narrow path winds gracefully through the meadow, leading your eyes toward the distant outline of the sleeping village, whose warm lights now appear like quiet stars resting upon the earth. The view asks nothing of you except that you remain still long enough to truly see it. You pause once more, feeling the cool night air rise softly from the valley below while the stars continue their silent journey overhead. Every slow breath seems to create a little more space inside your mind, leaving behind only a growing sense of calm that asks for no explanation. Could it be that the greatest moments of peace arrive when there is nothing left to chase? The hillside descends gently toward a small orchard where rows of old fruit trees stand peacefully beneath the moonlight. Their branches barely move, and the faint fragrance carried through the air feels wonderfully familiar, even if you cannot remember where you first encountered it. The quiet simplicity of the place seems to awaken memories without ever demanding that you hold on to them. A narrow wooden gate stands open at the far end of the orchard, inviting you onward without urgency or expectation. Beyond it, another peaceful lane stretches ahead, bordered by low stone walls softened by moss that has grown patiently over countless years. Every step along this forgotten path feels lighter than the one before, as though the night itself is gently carrying you forward. Somewhere nearby, the soft sound of flowing water returns once again, calm and unchanging, offering a quiet reminder that peaceful rhythms continue whether anyone is listening or not. You allow that gentle sound to guide your attention, discovering that the less you search for thoughts, the more naturally they begin to drift away. The silence no longer feels empty because it has become filled with quiet understanding. The stars now seem brighter than ever, scattered across the sky with effortless grace while the moon watches peacefully over the sleeping landscape. Every distant hill, every quiet tree, and every winding path appears wrapped in the same gentle light, creating a scene that feels both endless and deeply familiar. It is almost impossible to imagine a place better suited for simply letting the day come to a peaceful close. As you continue walking beneath that endless sky, the journey no longer feels measured by distance but by the growing stillness within you. Thoughts become softer, breathing becomes slower, and even time seems to lose its urgency as the quiet night gently surrounds you from every direction. Without realizing when it happened, you have begun to move with the same calm rhythm that has quietly guided this peaceful landscape all along. The quiet lane gradually brings you back toward the familiar cottages, where soft light continues to glow behind curtains gently drawn against the night. No voices drift through the air, yet the peaceful presence of those homes creates the comforting feeling that everything is exactly where it belongs. Have you ever experienced a place that feels welcoming without asking anything of you? A narrow stone staircase rises beside one of the cottages, leading to a small terrace overlooking the sleeping village below. From there, the rooftops seem to blend into the landscape as though they had grown naturally from the hills over countless generations. Every gentle detail encourages your gaze to linger a little longer, revealing beauty that only appears when nothing is rushed. The breeze becomes almost imperceptible now, carrying only the faint fragrance of flowering vines climbing along old wooden walls. Their delicate scent drifts quietly through the cool air, disappearing almost as soon as it arrives, leaving behind only the memory of its gentle presence. There is something deeply calming about moments that never try to last forever. Above you, the moon continues its slow journey across the sky, bathing every path and garden in a soft silver glow that smooths every edge. Shadows no longer seem mysterious, but peaceful, adding quiet depth to the familiar landscape without hiding anything that needs to be seen. Could it be that the night reveals a different kind of beauty simply because it asks us to slow down enough to notice it? You begin walking once again, following a narrow path lined with smooth stones that quietly reflect the moonlight beneath your feet. The gentle rhythm of each step becomes almost effortless, blending so naturally with your breathing that movement itself feels like part of the silence surrounding you. Without realizing it, your body has settled into the same unhurried pace as the sleeping village. Ahead, a small wooden bridge crosses another clear stream whose steady flow has continued through every season without interruption. The water catches fragments of starlight, creating tiny reflections that appear for a moment before quietly drifting away with the current. Watching them pass, you sense how naturally every moment gives way to the next without resistance. Beyond the bridge, an open field stretches peacefully beneath the endless sky, its quiet stillness undisturbed by anything except the occasional whisper of the wind through the grass. There is no destination waiting at the far end, only the simple invitation to continue for as long as the journey itself brings comfort. The absence of urgency feels strangely freeing, as though every expectation has quietly dissolved into the night. You pause one final time before continuing, allowing the silence to settle completely around you without searching for another thought to follow. The stars remain steady overhead, the village rests peacefully behind you, and the gentle rhythm of the landscape seems to flow through every slow breath you take. In that quiet balance, you discover that sometimes the most meaningful journeys are the ones that lead you gently back to yourself. The open field slowly gives way to a quiet garden enclosed by low stone walls, where moonlight settles gently upon winding paths and carefully tended flower beds. Every blossom remains perfectly still beneath the cool night air, as though the entire garden has been resting peacefully for centuries without ever losing its quiet beauty. Have you ever wondered whether places like this keep their calm simply because they are never asked to become anything else? You follow the narrow path through the garden at an unhurried pace, noticing how every familiar sound has softened into the background of the evening. A gentle breeze brushes across the leaves, carrying a faint fragrance that rises and fades so naturally it almost seems woven into the silence itself. The longer you remain here, the more difficult it becomes to remember why life outside this peaceful place ever needed to move so quickly. Beyond the garden stands a small greenhouse with weathered glass that reflects the stars like countless tiny mirrors. Inside, the outlines of quiet plants rest beneath the silver glow of the moon, creating a scene that feels suspended between waking and dreaming. Nothing inside appears to be growing in haste, and somehow that quiet patience begins to settle within you as well. Leaving the greenhouse behind, you discover another narrow path bordered by smooth stones warmed earlier by the sun and now slowly releasing the last traces of the day's warmth into the cool night. Every careful step seems lighter than the one before, as though the ground itself gently encourages you to leave behind every remaining burden. Could peace simply be the result of allowing yourself to move without resistance? Ahead, a solitary windmill rises above the landscape, its wooden blades resting motionless beneath the endless sky. Even without turning, it seems to belong perfectly to the quiet rhythm surrounding it, standing not as a monument to movement but as a reminder that stillness has its own quiet strength. You pause for a moment, appreciating how beauty often reveals itself most clearly when nothing is trying to impress you. A faint layer of mist begins to gather across the distant meadow, softening every outline without hiding the landscape beneath it. Hills, trees, and quiet cottages blend gently together until the entire valley seems wrapped inside a single peaceful breath. The world appears simpler now, not because anything has disappeared but because nothing feels separate anymore. The stars continue their silent passage overhead, their steady light remaining unchanged while the hours drift quietly forward. Looking upward, you find yourself wondering how many generations have stood beneath this same sky, finding comfort in its quiet constancy after days filled with ordinary concerns. That thought brings no sadness, only a deep sense of belonging within something far greater than yourself. As you slowly make your way back toward the village, the familiar lanterns once again appear along the quiet streets, glowing softly without breaking the peaceful darkness surrounding them. Every warm light feels less like a destination and more like a gentle companion guiding you through the final moments of the evening. Without realizing it, your breathing has become so calm that it seems to move in perfect harmony with the quiet world around you. The village now feels entirely at rest, embraced by the silence of the night and the endless sky above. There is nowhere left to hurry, nothing left to accomplish, and no thought that asks to be carried any farther than this peaceful moment. As the journey continues, you simply allow the calm to deepen, trusting the night to lead you gently toward the quiet comfort that has been waiting for you all along. The quiet streets gradually disappear behind you as a gentle trail leads toward a peaceful lake resting beneath the open sky. Its surface lies perfectly still, reflecting the moon and the countless stars with such clarity that the boundary between earth and sky begins to fade. Have you ever stood before water so calm that it seemed to hold the entire night within its silent embrace? A small wooden dock reaches slowly into the lake, weathered by seasons that have come and gone without disturbing its quiet purpose. Each step across the aged planks carries only the softest whisper, blending naturally with the distant murmur of water touching the shoreline. The farther you walk, the more the world behind you seems to dissolve into peaceful memory. Reaching the end of the dock, you pause without feeling the need to continue any farther. Before you stretches an endless reflection of stars, each one shimmering gently with the slightest movement of the water before returning to perfect stillness once again. There is something quietly reassuring about knowing that even the smallest ripple eventually finds its way back to calm. A cool breeze glides across the lake, carrying with it the fresh scent of clean water and the quiet fragrance of nearby trees. It brushes gently across your face before continuing into the darkness, leaving behind only a comforting sense of freshness that seems to reach far deeper than the air itself. Could peace sometimes arrive so gently that we only recognize it after it has already settled within us? You remain there for another quiet moment, allowing your breathing to match the slow rhythm of the water beneath the dock. Every inhale feels steady, every exhale softer than the last, until even the simple act of breathing becomes part of the landscape surrounding you. Nothing needs to be forced because everything has already found its natural pace. Eventually, you turn back toward the shore, noticing how the wooden planks seem even quieter beneath your feet than before. The lanterns of the distant village glow faintly across the water, appearing almost like a second constellation resting gently upon the earth. Their warm light offers comfort without calling you forward, allowing the night to unfold at its own peaceful rhythm. Following the shoreline, you discover a narrow path bordered by smooth stones softened by years of flowing water. Small reeds sway quietly along the lake's edge, their delicate movement creating patterns that come and go without leaving a trace behind. Watching them, you begin to understand that the most beautiful moments often leave no mark except the calm they awaken inside us. Above, the stars continue their silent journey while the moon slowly climbs higher into the endless darkness. Its gentle light washes over the lake, the trees, and the winding path ahead with quiet consistency, asking nothing and changing nothing except the way you now see the world around you. Every familiar scene feels somehow more peaceful beneath its patient glow. As you continue your unhurried walk, the night grows deeper, yet it never feels empty or lonely. Instead, it surrounds you with a quiet sense of belonging, as though every gentle sound, every soft breeze, and every distant light has been waiting to accompany you on this peaceful journey. Without searching for it, you realize that the calm you hope to find has been walking beside you all along. The shoreline slowly curves away from the open water, leading you toward a quiet grove where ancient trees stand in gentle silence beneath the stars. Their broad branches sway almost imperceptibly, casting soft patterns of moonlight across the winding path as if the forest itself were breathing in long, peaceful rhythms. Have you ever felt that a place could welcome you simply by remaining perfectly still? As you walk beneath the canopy, the sounds of the lake gradually fade into the distance, replaced by the delicate whisper of leaves brushing against one another high above. Every step carries you deeper into the calm until the outside world becomes nothing more than a distant memory, leaving only the quiet presence of the night surrounding you. The gentle darkness no longer hides the landscape but reveals its quiet character one peaceful moment at a time. The trail eventually opens into a small clearing where smooth stones circle an old oak that has watched over this place for generations. Moonlight filters through its wide branches, resting softly upon the ground without disturbing the silence that has settled here for countless evenings before this one. There is no sign of hurried footsteps or passing time, only the comforting feeling that this quiet corner has always existed exactly as it is now. You pause beneath the shelter of the great tree, allowing yourself to simply listen. Somewhere in the distance, a gentle breeze moves through the surrounding branches before slowly fading into stillness once again, leaving behind only the quiet rhythm of your own breathing. Could it be that the moments we remember most deeply are often the ones in which almost nothing happens at all? Beyond the clearing, another narrow path continues between clusters of wild grass glowing softly beneath the moonlight. Tiny drops of dew catch the silver light like scattered stars resting upon the earth, disappearing as quickly as they appeared whenever the breeze gently passes by. The landscape seems to offer countless small wonders without ever asking you to search for them. Far ahead, the outline of a small stone chapel quietly emerges against the night sky, its simple shape blending naturally into the peaceful hillside. A single lantern beside its wooden door burns with a calm, steady glow that neither dominates the darkness nor surrenders to it, but simply exists with quiet confidence. Its warm light feels less like an invitation to enter than a reminder that gentle comfort can always be found without being sought. You continue at the same unhurried pace, noticing how every familiar sensation has become softer than before. The cool air, the distant fragrance of pine, and the quiet glow of the stars all seem perfectly balanced, creating a harmony that asks nothing more than your quiet attention. Thoughts drift through your mind like slow-moving clouds, appearing briefly before dissolving into the peaceful stillness surrounding you. Above the chapel, the night sky stretches endlessly across the horizon, filled with stars whose patient light has crossed unimaginable distances to reach this quiet place. Looking upward, you feel no need to understand their journey because simply witnessing their steady presence is enough to fill the moment with quiet wonder. Every peaceful breath reminds you that the greatest sense of calm often arrives when nothing at all needs to be explained. Leaving the hillside behind, you continue along the gently winding path, no longer thinking about where it might lead or how much farther it may go. The journey itself has become the destination, unfolding one quiet scene after another with effortless grace, inviting you to release every remaining trace of the day. Wrapped in the gentle embrace of the night, you continue forward, knowing that each peaceful step carries you deeper into a world where silence is no longer empty but beautifully alive.